They've brought out the heavy artillery.
Good day, friends. Welcome to day 8 of the 9 days of devastation. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Perfect Effect, Perfect Combiner PC-06 upgrade set for the Combiner Wars, or the Warriors Unite Warriors, whichever one it is, Takara Tomy Japanese version of Devastator. So this set is currently available on Big Bad Toy Store if you want to pick it up. And it does make a huge difference with how your Devastator looks. Packaging is fantastic. I'm always impressed with the third-party packaging these days because Hasbro and Takara have done a lot of things right, and the third-party companies are doing a lot of the things that Hasbro and Takara did right back in the day. Really nice looking instructions that lay out everything, the way everything works. You know, if you're a box person, it's a nice box, nice cardboard box, and really nice clamshell packaging. So what's included is 2 separate layers, and I know there's some real packaging aficionados, so I wanted to just quickly cover this because it is really nice. You got your first part with the covering here, and you got your second part with a covering, and they fit on top of each other like a lot of Masterpiece Transformers do. So even though this isn't an official Hasbro or Takara product, it's nice that not only does the stuff look like stuff that goes with the official product, the actual packaging itself too looks like official packaging. And here is what's included in these sets. You get the new improved cab piece from Mixmaster, and Hook gets an extra piece for his hook, and it also comes with this piece right here to connect it. There are a couple of plugs that go into long haul for the combined Devastator mode, give them a little more purple coloring and also cover some gaps. And this is really cool. Fans of the IDW comics will appreciate this. Prowl ends up being part of Devastator for a bit of that comics run, and so they've included a little Prowl head that you can attach to Hook, as well as the gigantic Prowlstator Devastator head, which just fits over top of that, but we'll get into that later on. And then for the second part, we've also got supersized scoop for Scavenger, which also has an extra point of articulation. And we've got new hands for Devastator, purple instead of black that came with the Combiner Wars version, with articulated fingers, a lot more posability available there. And he also gets a couple of new shoulders, which give him a lot more range in the shoulders. So let's go through each one of these right now. And I'm going to start off with my favorite upgrade of the set, the new cab for Mixmaster. So this truck right here, this is the cab, I guess, officially. This is the engine, but to longtime G1 fans, this should be the cab because it becomes Devastator's foot. Devastator's foot is a cab. That's why we call that the cab, even though it's sort of not a cab, although it kind of looks like it has windows. Yeah, I really did not like this vehicle mode. So the Perfect Effect upgrade has this front here, and it's not just a simple stick it on, because it has to have a joint that will move with it as it goes into Devastator mode. So the way you attach it is there are some holes right here on either side that allow for Mixmaster's head to swing up in robot mode, but because those holes are there, Perfect Effect has engineered this so that these knobs will plug into those holes. And by the way, the color match is exceptional. This whole thing doesn't work. The whole upgrade idea just falls apart if the colors don't match. And that is so close that I'd have to say it's exact. To my eyes, in this room with this lighting, I can't even super nitpick and say, well, it's just a tiny 1/1000th shade. Like that looks exact to me. Same color, same shininess, same texture. I'm actually feeling the plastic here to see if it's the same texture. Not really something I'm concerned about, but I know a lot of people are very, very passionate about matches when two different companies do stuff like this. So it is really, really good. And as far as the plastic or the paint goes, it's got a little bit more of a metallic fleck, the official stuff. This one sort of has it. It's very close, very close. I mean, it's so close it doesn't bother me at all. But let's attach this on here right now. And the way we do that is we turn this way so that it goes over top of this engine / cab. And you can see these grooves right here are supposed to go and get held on here like that. It's really an incredible design. So it's not just held by these holes, but it's actually supposed to be held up here as well. Always tricky to get a good shot of this. Trying to walk you through this as best as I can without blocking the view, because I know on a lot of these tutorial videos sometimes guys have to do it like this, and you do this and left and voila, and you couldn't see anything. So let's see if I can let you actually see what I'm doing here. So what we're trying to do here is get those to plug onto there, try to get these bottom things to catch. I think I just did it. I'm close. Give it a little push. You hear a satisfying snap. I think it's in there. So this goes up and down like that, and that's in there. Nice and secure. All right, so first we'll take a look at the truck. Snap that in place. Now that is what Mixmaster is supposed to look like, and now his official cab, to me, is his engine. That's where the engine should be. And now he looks like G1 Mixmaster did. Really, really nice rendition. And then you got the smokestacks, which used to be on the back of the truck, are up at the front where they're supposed to be. And to put them into Devastator leg mode, you slide that up. You still pull the cab or the engine or whatever it was called, whatever you want to call it, up like it used to be. The only difference now is that it's got this extra foot piece. So we have to pull this out, but it's really as simple as that. You just fold it up, and that's it. Like the cab fits perfectly with the cement drum right here. Nice and sturdy, and looks a lot better than it used to. So before we attach that to Devastator, we're going to upgrade one more guy. We got Scavenger here with his original scoop, and here is his supersized scoop. So this one is really easy to install. All we got to do is just pull this off. That's it. This is just on a little knob right there. That just slides off, and that just slides back on. Make sure that's all secured. Doesn't really feel like there's supposed to be a snap or anything like that, but you get a much bigger scoop. So the original scoop didn't have any movement at the actual scoop. It only had one point where it moved. And the new one, the scoop moves, it moves here, and it moves here. So you get an extra point of articulation, and you can actually even haul the original in there. The only thing that they opted to not do is color this part silver. Would have been nice if they had done that. That would have been a complete slam dunk improvement, but that's not too hard to do yourself if you have some silver paint. And it is a little big, so that when you extend it all the way to the front, you can see he does wobble a little bit. So I could see some people sticking with the original one because of the extra silver color, and this actually doesn't look too bad. I think it looks nice, but if you want a supersized scoop, then here you go, a little bigger. And the color match again is exceptional. Really well done. So Scavenger has a couple more upgrades. We're going to put him into Devastator arm mode. We're going to pull this out, connect these back together, fold this in. So this was his original forearm and hand, and this is his new one. Very similar to the original one in design, and what you actually have to do, you do have to still use this part right here. So you will just, this is pretty bendy plastic, so you can just pull that out and pop this in. There's holes on either side that just go in where the old hand was. You kind of have to do this blind a little bit. That's not too hard to do. And then when you put this back into weapon mode, it still can become a gun like the old one did. It's maybe a little tricky to fold the fingers up, but like the original one, it also has a handle that can come out and you can hold it. I'm not quite sure how this goes, this part, but it's the same idea as the original gun. It folds up and has a handle here which you can hold and blast. But for the purpose of being Devastator's arm, we fold all the fingers out, and this just attaches back on like it did before. And now, instead of a black hand, black fingers, he's got show accurate, G1 accurate arm. Just turn this way, and he's ready to rock. And the final upgrade is the shoulder attachment. So these look like they're identical, both on either side, but they are actually not identical because these little pegs right here that connect are different lengths. So the longer one is for Bone Crusher and the shorter one is for Scavenger. So you're going to take this and plug it in this way, and it slides in nice and easy. Comes out pretty easily too, but it feels sturdy. It doesn't feel like it's going to fall off, and he's ready to rock. So this part will connect to hook in a few minutes. And same idea for Bone Crusher. We're going to take this part, it's going to plug right into there. Bone Crusher is actually, on mine, really stiff. It's a really tight squeeze to get him on and off of hook on my set, so I like this upgrade set because it just makes connecting him to the rest of Devastator a little bit easier. I mean, that is still really snug, but so much easier than what I normally have to do. So there's the shoulder joint for Bone Crusher, and then same idea over here. we can just easily pop out the original hand and the new hand. I forgot to mention, there's an extra paint application on the end here. So it looks really nice. It looks more like a weapon, like a laser or some sort of rock vibrational shattering device or something like that. Same idea. It's got the handle for gun mode. It's got the awesome articulated fingers. Really cool. And we're just going to pop that onto here. Same thing. We just find those knobs, circles, and they plug into the holes. You could almost do it blind, it's so easy. And that's it. Now he is on there and he can give you the finger point of doom. Your doom is coming. And the final upgrade is for Hook, whose original hook was very underwhelming for fans of the original G1 hook. It doesn't move, nothing, there's nothing to it, it's just a solid piece. It's nice, I guess, that it goes up and down, but there's really not much to it, whereas the original has the extra piece and the hook that moves. So to install this upgrade, all you got to do is wiggle this hook out of here. It's a little tricky, but just be patient with it. Don't apply too much pressure, and just pull it out like that. It's not that hard. So you are actually going to be using this part. It's not like Scavenger where you just toss the scoop, the hook. You're going to take the original piece, and you see this groove in here. This part that fit into here is reused again. That's what I really like about these upgrade sets. They're working off of the original design. So you're just going to put it in there because that's where it slides and stops. That's its maximum range. And then you take this other piece right here, and there are holes on one side and pegs on the other. It's a very simple installation. I like it. I like that it isn't overly complicated. No screws required, no teeny tiny screwdriver. And then this piece is included so that you can just clip that on there. It doesn't feel like it's going to come apart anyway, but sometimes for collectors, peace of mind is worth a lot. So the peace of mind that something is on there, securing it and holding it in place. So now it's the same idea as before. You just take this and pop it back in, and you push. Again, not too hard. This is plastic. It's not titanium. And now Hook has a supersized hook. That's really cool. I like how that looks. It's too bad they didn't also do an extra piece here, but since this is permanently on here and it's just painted, it wouldn't have been all that easy. They would have basically had to create a whole entire new piece with an extra hook on it. I guess they could have done that, maybe sold the whole set for a few bucks more. But it's fine. And I especially like being able to use the original piece that came with it in the upgrade instead of just getting rid of it. But it's got quite a bit of range. I actually have to zoom out to show you the full range of this thing, but that is really, really cool. That's really awesome. Hook should have a lot of range, so that is one upgrade that I definitely love. Alright, we've got Hook back up onto long haul, and we're going to connect the arms now, so we're going to see what this looks like with the new shoulder connectors. And the connector on Hook will just plug into here. And it can be a little tricky, especially if you have a weak arm, but you can just wiggle it on there. There we go. And down here you can see that Long Haul's arm will fit into this gap right here. And we just connect that onto there. That's on there, and we're going to also connect. Oh, he's starting to fall backwards a little bit. We're going to connect this one onto here. So that just slides onto there. This is one of the trickiest parts of the combining, but once you get the right angle, it's really not that hard. And then we just secure Longhaul's hand back in there. And we can connect the shield now, and this time, because the arms are spread out further now, these little connectors will no longer reach and connect into the treads. So just a heads up about that, but it still fits in very securely just based on that connector right there. And we go over here, plug that into there. It's not falling off, that was just extra secure. And connect the head right like that. And the final upgrade is these panels that plug into Longhaul's legs, Devastator's legs. So you just take the rectangle here and you plug it into the hole there, and it covers up the holes, and it also adds a little bit more of that purple. And it's a perfect match as well, the purple coloration with the rest of Devastator. And that, I guess you could call the perfect Devastator. And we're just gonna add his blaster as well. Again, you can see perfect color match, really well done. And even though he has articulated fingers, and there's good grip on them too. Sometimes these things are really floppy and they just pop right off. But these are nice and sturdy. Don't even need them though, because there is this little piece of plastic right here that holds the gun in place. So you just slide the handle into that, and even without his fingers wrapped around it, he's holding the gun really well. And then you can just secure it even further by wrapping his fingers around it. You can have his trigger finger in a ready position, even though the gun doesn't have a trigger. And he's ready to blast some Autobots. And here's a look at the new foot, which looks so much better than the original. That original really sad, tiny cab of a foot. And this one looks much more G1 accurate. And also I really love the engineering of it too, because they have allowed for enough of a gap here that the cement drum doesn't get in the way. It's so cool that whoever designed this had this to work off of. Sometimes upgrades aren't as compatible as they could be because the designers just literally didn't have the original piece to work off of. They had to do guesswork. But this is perfect, makes a big difference, looks a lot better with the scoop of Scavenger as well. Just does wonders for the look of Devastator. And then for the rest of the upgrades, here's a look at the new shoulders, which really make him wider. Maybe not, I wouldn't say beefy, but definitely more powerful looking. More of a like a bodybuilder, upper body strength look to him. And one of the issues with Devastator just on his own, the original version, was how floppy the arms could be, because there weren't any ratchet joints. And this time there are ratchet joints, so you can click these up, and the arms are really heavy, especially the one holding the gun. It is really heavy, so if you wiggle them a bit, it will actually let go. The ratchets aren't that tight, but the arm without, let's just take the gun out to show you the difference here. It's still pretty heavy. It's not holding all that well, but it's much better than the original joint. And he's also got ratchet joints going forward as well. So if you want to have him pointing his gun out, originally this piece right here is how it would go, and it was, see, there's no ratchet here, it's just a friction joint. But now you can ratchet it into place and it will hold. Not super tight, but a definite improvement. So added articulation with the new shoulders, sturdier grip. Let's see, this guy, this is still flopping down. He can't even really hold his own weight here, but if you stick this piece in here to catch on that, now he can actually hold his arm up thanks to these great new shoulder joints. And with the add-on for hook, now this part sticks out a little bit more. Not a big deal though, it did that on the original one as well. But all in all, this is a wonderful set. Love this upgrade. This is great too. I didn't even know we needed this, but it's nice to add a little bit more purple, just a little bit. Makes a big difference sometimes. And the shoulders, you can see in this long shot now that we're nice and far away, really adds to his power look to him. The extra girth, having the arms just a little bit further out from the body. But wait, there's more. There is one more little upgrade for fans of the IDW comics. I'm not very familiar with the IDW comics, but for those of you who are, there is this upgrade where Prowl becomes part of Devastator. So once again, working off what's already there, they have this piece right here that fits into this gap back here. So once you get that in, the rest will follow. You can just plug that in there, holds it nice and tight. And even though I don't know anything about this, it's kind of a cool idea to have somebody else be part of Devastator. And I also just want to give you a little warning. These new upgrades aren't that heavy, but they do add a little bit of weight to it. And this guy's already really heavy. So be careful when you're handling him. Just that extra tiny little bit of weight is going to be enough to make him behave differently, I should say. So he might be a little more tipsy, whereas before he wasn't. So you just want to watch out for that. So they've added this little Prowl head here, which is articulated. He's actually on a ball joint. So you can have him looking around, and it's actually a really nice little head sculpt of the IDW comic Prowl. And they have also included this head, which just has a gap, has a hole, and all you gotta do is push it down, and now you've got Prowlstator, Devastator with a brand new noggin. So it gives a set with lots of variety, just a little bit more variety, so you can display the vehicles in construction vehicle mode, you can have them in robot mode, you can combine them into Devastator, and if you get tired of even that after a while, you can make him Prowlstator. And don't worry if you get tired of it, sometimes all you need is a little bit of a break, and Prowlstator could be a nice little break from Devastator. I think it's cool. Even not knowing anything about it, I appreciate the detail that's been put into this. There's really nice silver paint on the face, very nice red paint applications on the horns, or whatever you call it, on his head, and on his eyes too. And this too, nice detailing on here, nice paint job. Just, they went the extra mile, just as they did with everything else in this set. And he can also hold other weapons like the mighty Megatron from the first Masterpiece Optimus Prime set. This is where the fingers are going to come in handy and be able to grip properly. This thing does sort of get in the way when you're trying to have him hold a weapon other than his own, but the fingers are sturdy enough. They tend to want to curl forward, so you just have to work with that. them around, tighten it up, and you can get it in there nice and sturdy. Give them a little bit of extra firepower. So that's the Perfect Combiner PC-06 upgrade set. Really awesome set. This guy's already fantastic on his own without any upgrades, but just these few little tweaks here and there, especially that, and also the shoulders, making him look a little bit more powerful. Really love the extra purple coloration added on there. The extra hook bit back here. Just awesome. Awesome little things that you didn't think you needed, but they make quite a big difference. Very cool. Thanks so much for watching. Glad to hear everybody has been enjoying this series. It's been a lot of fun to make it as well. Share if you like the video, and to join the tribe, hit subscribe. Nerdmas Day.